From the beautiful city of Los Angeles, California, we bring you the Gimme Three podcast.
Welcome back, cinephiles, cinema lovers, and movie appreciators to the Gimme Three podcast, a series for cinephiles where we discuss 3 movies connected by one theme. I'm your co-host, Bella F. Stratus, and I'm reunited with my brilliant co-host, Nicholas Ibarra. Nick, how are you doing today?
I'm doing good. You know, it's here. We're here, and it's a busy time. It's going to be a busy summer. I could feel it in my gooch. That's where I do my best feeling.
Yeah. No, I
What an absolutely unhinged way to start the show.
I love it. You know, that's just how it's going to go this week. Okay. So get on board or get out.
Right. I guess some of the movies we are talking about today are pretty unhinged. So it is.
That is true. That is true. Yes. Today we are continuing our Gimme Three A-Z series. For those new to our show, just a quick overview. Every month, Nick and I are dedicating one episode to one letter in the alphabet. And honestly, we're just getting started. So for this episode, Nick and I have each picked one movie starting with the letter B. And we left the third film up to you, our lovely listeners, to choose. So I know many of you who submitted your recommendations on our Instagram have been waiting a long time for this one. But the wait is finally over. And today we're going to reveal our 3 B movies. Before we dive in, I wanted to first of all say thank you to all of your recommendations, all the submissions on our Instagram. You guys went crazy, and we had so many great movies to pick from. So I wanted to shout out a few. One of them is from Mateo Perez, recommended Inarritu's Beautiful, starring Javier Bardem, which I've actually never seen, but looking it up, it does look beautiful. So now I have that on my watch list now, thanks to you.
Nice.
Have you seen that one, Nick?
I haven't
heard
actually.
of it.
I heard of it and have been recommended it.
Oh yeah,
many times, and it's been on my list for years.
Oh,
but just haven't gotten around to seeing it yet.
Cool. Yeah. Well, I guess we'll have to. Remy Smith always coming in hot with the Rex with Black Swan, another classic that we actually haven't talked about yet, but I know we certainly will for a future episode. What else did we have here? Oh, Daniel Ott came in with A Better Tomorrow, which I actually love that movie, but I'm sorry, the fact that it had A in it before Better Tomorrow, I just couldn't do it. It's as simple as that.
Yeah. I think is one that we always make an exception for because I don't know. It's just I think it's universally accepted that the doesn't count when you're talking about films or songs or albums. When you're alphabetizing things, for some reason, is like excused. It's like, does. But A, I think is something different.
It's a little different, but I was so happy to see it pop up because I feel like this is such an underappreciated movie. And so I'm glad to see it. It's a reminder that we should talk about it on the show in the future. God, there were so many, honestly. Like everyone. Oh, The Bone Temple from Koji Yamamoto Cinema. That one I've been dying to watch. Still haven't seen it yet, which is crazy.
Might be my favorite film of the year thus far, actually.
Really? Oh my God.
Yeah.
Wow. Definitely need to check that out then. Beginners from Ryan Layson. I mean, there's so many. I could go on forever. You guys all popped off. So thank you so much. And I'm sure if we're not talking about it this time, we probably will in the future.
Or some of them we may have already talked about them.
Very true. Yes, some of them we have, including we've got Boogie Nights, Brokeback Mountain, The Before Sunset. It's funny, Jess recommended The Birdcage, But I'm a Cheerleader, and Bring Her Back, which she has talked about all 3 on this podcast.
Come on, Jess.
I thought that was hilarious. Hey, they're damn good movies, so no shade there. But today we have some other 3 that I'm so excited for this episode. For me, this was really hard to choose. I'm curious to hear how it was trying to pick one B movie, or one movie starting with the letter B, because it doesn't necessarily have to be a B movie.
Right, yeah, these are not B movies. We did toy with the idea of making all of our films that start with the letter B movies.
Right.
But we're like, that's a little too complicated.
Yeah.
But yes, it was extremely difficult for me. In fact, like once we decided we were going to do this series, Gimme Three A through Z, I started in my notes app on my phone listing all the letters and putting, a few options for each letter that I think of, films that I love and adore that I think would be fun to talk about.
Yeah.
And B was by far the one that was the most difficult. I think I had like a list of 10 films that I was like, here's a bunch that I'm just like, what do I pick here? It's really, really challenging. But I think I narrowed down to a great one.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, we have a nice variety today, which will be really fun. Yeah, I'm just too excited. I feel like we should just dive right in.
Yeah, let's get in. Let's get in.
All right, well, we're going to reveal the film we picked for today's episode. And that is Jonathan Lopez's recommendation of Spike Jonze Being John Malkovich. Yes, Jonathan Lopez is the Jonathan Lopez I always talk about on here, but I swear this was not a biased pick. Nick, you'll have to back me up here.
Yeah, it was, and I think somebody else, I think there was a couple other people who suggested it as well. So it was like a popular suggestion.
Yes. Also, fun fact, this is allegedly Jonathan's favorite movie, which I think is pretty cute because mine is Eternal Sunshine, and he picked this film without even realizing it's the same writer. So, I guess it's meant to be.
Some would say it's cute. Some would say you're both fucking fucked up and weird.
Yeah, probably most would say the latter. Oh, Lord. Yeah, this is a funky one. Let's get into it. Being John Malkovich, released in 1999, was both Spike Jonze and Charlie Kaufman's first film, which is honestly so impressive because while this movie does a lot, it's still pretty amazing. The film stars John Cusack as Craig Schwartz, a miserable man who spends his days on the streets of New York as a failing puppeteer. And it's not even that he's bad at it. He's actually incredibly talented. The problem is that no one gives a rat's ass about puppets. Each day, he sulks home to his wife, Lottie, played by Cameron Diaz, a gentle spirit who works at a pet store but brings nearly every animal home, including a baby monkey named Elijah. With money running low, Craig is forced to find a real job. That's when he discovers a bizarre job ad that reads, "Looking for a man with fast hands, short-statured file clerk with dexterous fingers." It's perfect, literally made for a guy like Craig. Not only was the ad strange, but the company's building is even stranger. Located on the infamous 7.5th, I don't even know how to say that, floor, Craig has to literally crawl out of the elevator and walk around hunched to accommodate for the absurdly low ceilings every day. At first, there's no way he'll last a day in this place. That is until he meets his attractive coworker, Maxine Lund, played by the brilliant Catherine Keener. But no matter how many times he shoots his shot, she really couldn't be less interested in the man.
Hi. Do you know that I don't even know your name or where you work?
Yeah.
Okay, how about this? If I can guess your name in 3 tries, you have to come have a drink with me tonight.
Why not?
Okay. You look like a Carol Tab Share Suzanne Maxine?
Yeah. Who told you?
Nobody told me. That just came out. Don't you think isn't that odd? So where do you live and stuff?
I am dubious, but I don't Welsh. Okay, meet me at the Stuck Pig, 7 o'clock. If you're late, I walk.
One day, Craig discovers a small hidden door. With nothing to lose, he decides to crawl through, only to discover that he's been transported inside the mind of critically acclaimed actor John Malkovich. Yes, the real John Malkovich. For an exhilarating 15 minutes, Craig gets to experience life as John Malkovich before he's ejected, landing on the side of the New Jersey Turnpike. The next day, he shares his discovery with Maxine, and the two of them decide to exploit this bizarre tear in the framework of reality by selling the experience to lonely people wishing they could be someone else. It's not long before Craig has to introduce Lottie to Maxine and share their secret side hustle to explain all the late nights spent with her at the office. Lottie demands to try the portal, and her experience as Malkovich is a transformative awakening. Not only does she fall head over heels in love with Maxine after a sexual encounter with her while in Malkovich's mind, but she also experiences gender euphoria after inhabiting Malkovich's body. This realization and budding relationship spurs an intense battle between Lottie and Craig for Maxine's affections via John Malkovich. I'm going to leave the plot synopsis here. One, for those who haven't seen this movie, but two, because I think I would probably take the entire runtime of a normal episode trying to fully explain this classically bizarre Charlie Kaufman plot. Overall, I think this movie it's darkly funny. It is a darkly funny, twisted tale of obsession and possession, but also kind of a strangely beautiful and complex exploration of relationships, gender, sexuality, and identity. Nick, what are your thoughts on Being John Malkovich?
I mean, my thoughts are that it's really amazing to have a lot of thoughts about a film, which is, something we're going to talk about with one of our other films today, too. This film just motivates creative thinking.
Yeah.
And, it's an exploration of an artist, quite literally, that's what the film is about. Mm-hmm. But, there's a lot of theories that this whole film is an allegory for, movie making in and of itself. You're going into this portal, into this dark portal, and for a minute you are becoming somebody else and like seeing the world through somebody else's eyes, and everybody has a different experience and is changed by this experience, but what they see once they go into this portal, and it moves them and it changes them, and they feel so. In a way, it is a movie that is kind of about cinema of itself, which is really fascinating. There are so many theories about what this movie is and what this movie means, and I don't think any of them are wrong, and I think that's the brilliance of it. The other brilliance of it is it's so dense and it's so weird, and it's obviously so Charlie Kaufman, and he's got all this like creativity and ideas overflowing.
Yeah.
But unlike say Synecdoche, New York, which is such a really unique script as far as like structure goes, and it subverts so much of what the audience expects from a story. As wild and as crazy as this movie is, if you break this story down by just script structure and act breaks and everything, it is like by the book American screenplay structure. It's just very creative with what he does with it, but in terms of like the plot points of a film, it's pretty by the numbers. So it just speaks to the talent of Charlie Kaufman, of how he's able to make a blueprint American screenplay, but make it feel like something you've never seen before.
Yeah.
You've
totally
got a very clearly defined want within like the first 3 minutes of the film coming from the main character. He wants to make his art and say what he wants to say, but the world won't let him because he's raising issues. This is a very clearly defined want, and he spends the entire film chasing after it. So anyways,
that's interesting. Yeah.
It's deft. It's deft, it's dense, and it's really, really entertaining.
Oh my God, yes. I mean, I'm thinking about that and I'm wondering, do you feel like that you would say the same for Lottie a little bit? I mean, less so in like the typical structured way, but I feel like she almost kind of has the same thing just like later in the film. Like
Well,
after
yeah,
she's gone through the portal, now she has her own.
I think she has a
Um,
more unique arc than,
mm, yeah,
her want is very different in the beginning of the film than at the end of the film.
true, true, yes.
So yeah, her arc may be the most fascinating of any of the characters in the film, because
Yeah.
she is kind of lost at the beginning of the film.
Mm. Yeah.
She's really in this kind of loveless marriage, and you get the sense that she is not with a great partner,
Right. Right.
one that doesn't really support her and is not being not being a good partner.
Yeah.
And so you feel like this haze hanging over her, and that's understandable. But then once she goes through the portal and she has this, gender awakening, you understand a little bit more of why that haze is hanging over her, and something perhaps she wasn't even like fully conscious of. So fascinating character, really, really
So
well
fascinating.
written.
And I mean, amazing performance. Like Cameron Diaz is one of my favorite. I mean, it's actually impossible to choose. I feel like all three of these performances, four, including Malkovich, are just off the charts. Everyone, for lack of a better term, like so locked in.
Yeah.
John Malkovich, I think, is so brave for saying yes to this film. I mean, he took a chance on a 28-year-old Spike Jonze in his directorial debut. Up until this point, Jonze had only directed music videos, big ones. I mean, he was known for videos for like the Beastie Boys, Weezer, Bjork, Fatboy Slim, and many others. Not only did Malkovich agree to the script, but he really gives everything in this performance. Like he doesn't hold back at all, and I think it really makes the movie.
I mean, I know this came out in the goated year of 1999.
Yeah.
Now being however many years we are past that, I can't do math, 30 something.
Yeah, just about 26.
Sorry.
Yeah.
But like I said, I can't do math. Looking back on it, it's just like, man, that is one of the great performances, because he is being John Malkovich, which playing yourself is not as easy as it sounds. But then he's also playing other people who are inhabiting him. And then, of course, there's that scene where he goes into the portal himself.
Oh.
And when he goes into the portal, there's like every single body in there has Malkovich's head on it, and all they're saying is Malkovich, Malkovich, Malkovich. And you get to see him do so many fun little performances. He's like a lounge singer in a dress, kicking up her leg. Oh my God. It's just like, my God, what a performance. What a vision from concept to the direction of it and the execution of it with Malkovich's performance. Good shit.
Good shit. I mean, you can kind of always say this once you've seen a performance like this that's so memorable, but I really can't imagine anyone else in this role. I just feel like choosing John Malkovich for this character or this role, I don't even know what to call it, is just so genius on so many levels. Because I was thinking about it too, of like, I was looking at his filmography, and it seemed like 10 years earlier he had done Dangerous Liaisons, which we watched with Michelle Pfeiffer. They had the public scandal or affair, whatever. He was already like a household name at that point. But then between then and this movie in 99, I was looking at his filmography, and he kind of moved away from more of the like big blockbuster movies. Like he was doing a lot of like smaller indie movies, I think, for the most part. So in a way, this was like a comeback for him, which I think is what a role to step into for that. Like he came into this, and I feel like it just skyrocketed him back into like even more stardom.
Well, when your name's in the title,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And I don't know, just like a timeless choice, which they couldn't have predicted, but I like to think that they did. That scene where he goes through the portal is so funny and horrifying. Like that is a nightmare. But
Malkovich? Malkovich! Malkovich? 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 Malkovich! 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 Malkovich!
How was it?
It was amazing this time.
That was no simulation!
I know, I'm sorry.
I
It's such an honor.
have been to the dark side. I have seen a world that no man should see.
Really, for most people, it was a rather pleasant experience. I mean,
That portal is mine, and it must be sealed forever for the love of God.
Mr. Malkovich, sir, with all due respect, I discovered that portal. I mean, it's my livelihood. Do you understand?
It's my head, Schwartz. It's my head. I will see you in court.
it's cool. I was watching some behind the scenes, and they actually had a lot of actors wearing this like hyper realistic silicone mask of his face.
Oh, they did like the Mission Impossible thing, huh?
Yes, exactly. That's one thing I love about this movie too, is how much it relies on practical effects and illusions.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's just one small piece of it. But like even just the way they capture the POV shots, it feels so natural but also unsettling, obviously, because it feels like you are sitting in this person's mind, like you went through the portal yourself. I just love the way they capture those in this film.
Speaking to like the practical effects,
Yeah.
the whole production design of Lester Corp, this 7.5 floor, and the ceilings being too low, and everybody having to hunch down while they're walking through the hallways and walking through the doors. I mean, super unique and original, great set design.
Oh yeah.
Incredibly claustrophobic. Like if you are claustrophobic, you might have issues with this movie, because not only does a lot of the film take place in this Lester Corp, there's also scenes where like people are getting put in cages when they're going through this portal. It's in this tiny little tunnel.
Oh yeah. Oh my God. Yeah. It is like skin crawling.
But I just love it how the design of this Lester Corp situation, because it instantly, as soon as he steps into this job interview, you have to like stop doing what he cares about, his art, for a second. He immediately is like, once you step into this place, you are beat down. You literally have to hunch over to walk. So it's just like a brilliant visual storytelling of just showing us, okay, these people are already, they've been beaten down by, the system.
Yeah. Oh, that's so interesting. Yeah. I also even thought of it as like being shrunken down, like to the size of his own puppet. If that makes any
totally.
sense.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they kind of tie that back in many ways. It all comes back to the puppetry in this film, which is brilliant in a really disturbing way. I mean, I feel like I would love to shout out Catherine Keener, because I forgot she was nominated for this performance, actually.
Yes, she was.
Right? Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. She's so hot in this movie, but she's also so scary. Like, this woman is diabolical.
She is elite hot in this movie.
Yeah.
She is like Marilyn Monroe levels of movie star hot.
Mm-hmm. but then also like equally evil, sort of.
There's something very femme fatale about her character, which I think, is intentional. Because she does kind of remind you of like old film noir actresses where you are very wary of them. They're up to no good, but you just can't help but want. You can't help but want that character to.
Doesn't matter.
Pursue her. It's like, yeah, I get it, bro. You shouldn't go after it, but fuck, I get it.
Yeah, honestly. Just so alluring and definitely a hell of a performance, and one that like every time I come back to it I appreciate it more and more. I'm just like, damn, she did so much with just like a single look, or like her the way she, I was watching an interview where she was talking about like many of her scenes are in this like the building, and so she was talking about trying to look like nonchalant or sexy while still having to hunch.
Yeah.
And she totally does it.
Yeah,
like,
she pulled it off.
She's the only one who looks like relaxed in this setting, which is so great. Just a testament to how, the little details that make a hell of a difference.
Well, and just her character also, like her performance is great, but her character and what she represents, like if, for example, if we're going along with the theory that this film is about cinema, or let's just say art in general, transforming yourself into somebody else's shoes, gaining this new and fresh perspective and being changed by it. When, what's the main character's name?
Craig.
When Craig first experiences the portal and is telling Catherine Keener's character, oh my God, I just experienced this thing. And I think it's very philosophical, this is really very heady stuff. Like we should explore this in a philosophical way. He's moved by what he experienced. And her first instinct is, let's make some money off of this.
Yep.
Which is the, epitome of evil and the epitome of, everything that's wrong with the world and the epitome of why we are where we are. Ignore the thoughts in your head, ignore the emotional connections that a piece of art or any experience is giving to you. Now let's monetize it as quickly and as swiftly and as crudely as we can.
Oh, it's horrible.
He's a fucking bitch.
She is a bitch in this.
The sad thing, this is kind of fucked up. They have this, like, at the end of the film, John Malkovich plays himself, obviously. He also has a friend in the film who's Charlie Sheen playing himself.
That's right.
At the end of the film, we get John Malkovich. It's only 7 odd years later, but Charlie Sheen walks in and they make him look not so good, His hair is all fucked up. He's got a comb over and stuff. And I was watching that and I was like, man, unfortunately, he's way worse for wear than they had even imagined he would be. Poor Charlie.
Oh my God. I forgot he was in this until I rewatched it this time around. And I was like, wow, what a choice. What a choice.
Great choice.
Charlie Sheen is your best friend?
A brilliant choice. Brilliant choice.
Oh, it's so funny. This movie is so as much as it is like, it is truly dark and twisted. It's funny almost all throughout, I would say.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it might this or adaptation, it's like go back and forth, but with Kauffman's funniest films, I think. Or funniest screenplays, I should say.
Yeah, definitely not Synecdoche, New York.
No, that one's not got too many laughs in it.
No, not so much.
But a fantastic script. In 2006, the Writers Guild of America West actually ranked this in the top 101 greatest screenplays. WGA's list of 101 greatest screenplays, coming in at number 74. Oh,
wow. Honestly, well deserved.
Oh, yeah.
No, I'm a big fan of this movie. It really never gets old. Because there's so much in it too. And like you said, like it's one of those where every theory is valid, because I feel like there is any person could have their own unique takeaway or like interpretation of what the film wants to say or reveal, but it also you also could just, you know, enjoy it for the absolute
the wild ride that it is.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, there's so many theories, so many interpretations. Like you could read dozens of essays on this film about what it means, and kind of like going through Malkovich's portal. Everybody kind of got a different experience with it.
Yeah, so cool. What a great movie. I'm glad we picked this one.
Yeah, excellent choice, Jonathan, whoever you may be.
Any final thoughts?
Excellent acting by the monkey.
Oh, even the monkey gets his own character arc.
Yeah, well, we get to
her backstory.
Yeah, we understand why the monkey's got, you know, all his trauma. And it's like, wow, that is a heartbreaking moment.
Horrible. Oh, such a great monkey. All right, next up is my pick for a movie starting with the letter B. It's a film called Beats from 2019, directed by Brian Welsh. For fans of the sci-fi anthology series Black Mirror, you've probably seen Brian Welsh's work before in season 1, episode 3, The Entire History of You. It's the one where everyone has this like memory implant that records everything they see, hear, and do, for better or worse. Great episode. But this episode was actually how Welsh was discovered by Steven Soderbergh, who went on to be an executive producer of Beats, which debuted in 2019 at the International Film Festival Rotterdam in the Netherlands. The film is set in Livingston, Scotland in 1994 and opens with the following quote to set the stage. In 1994, the British government announced the Criminal Justice and Public Order Bill. It outlawed unlicensed gatherings at which, quote, at which amplified music is played, wholly or predominantly characterized by the emission of a succession of repetitive beats, end quote. Essentially banning outdoor raves and parties across the whole of the UK, any kind of gathering around music. The film follows two teenage best friends, Jono and Spanner, played by Christian Ortega and Lauren MacDonald, who find themselves drawn into an underground music-centric revolution when a mysterious radio host organizes an illegal rave in protest of the bill. To introduce our characters, Jono is an extremely shy and awkward kid who's struggling to cope with his mom's pretentious straight-laced boyfriend, a cop no less, who seems determined to control not only Jono but every aspect of his family's life. Spanner, on the other hand, is a bit of a wild card, but he's a true friend and a good-hearted kid deep down. Unfortunately, he's constantly pulled down by the abuse and horrible reputation of his criminal older brother, Fido. Under unfortunate circumstances, Spanner unexpectedly learns that Jono and his family are planning to move away at the end of the month. With his best and only friend leaving, Spanner decides to risk it all. Stealing money from his older brother, he decides that Jono and him will live like there's no tomorrow. And the best way to do that is by going to this damn illegal rave. To be part of the moment, to immortalize their last night. What follows is an exhilarating and hilarious road trip as the boys set out to make the most of one last night of freedom before absolutely everything changes. In the end, this impulsive journey becomes less about getting to the rave and more about their friendship, escape, and simply holding on to a moment before it disappears. Nick, I'm so excited to hear what you think of this film. It's a movie I found on, I think it was on Canopy about 3 years ago, and just randomly decided to watch it one day and just kind of fell in love with it. I think it's such a fun kind of period piece, like capturing this place and time, but also feels so authentic in its portrayal of youth in this time.
Yeah.
And I just found it so charming and so immersive that I was like, you know what, it's time, I got to revisit it. So I'm curious, what did you think of Beats?
I found it really impressive. And I found it really impressive because in the first 30 or so minutes, I wasn't feeling it.
Yeah.
I thought specifically the visual style, I thought it was very mundane.
Yeah.
Like it's got this black and white cinematography, and it's not the black and white cinematography that made it feel mundane. It was like the composition and, you know, some of the static shots, and just for the environment of this gritty, rough and tumble Scottish neighborhood, the style didn't seem to fit the environment to me.
Yeah. I get that. Yeah.
However, that style changes drastically once the two best friends decide to make a break for this rave. Specifically, once they start driving to this rave, the style changes drastically, and it morphs into this super, super stylish, dare I say, bold approach to what they do with the editing and sometimes visual effects and composition and all this stuff. And it then, once that happened, it made sense why the early portion of the film felt more mundane, and it was by design.
Yes.
And so that really was impressive to me, and I was really blown away. And
yay.
And the relationship between the two youngsters here,
Jono and Spanner,
just so sweet, so real. So yeah, I really, really enjoyed it. If you like, this movie is kind of like, for our listeners, it's kind of like Footloose meets Pump Up the Volume meets Go.
Oh, okay. Interesting. I mean, yes, I also wrote down Footloose. I also wrote down, it kind of reminded me of this time around, because I hadn't seen this other movie before, just a little bit of Y tu mamá también. I just think, I don't know, the way I watched this, there's just such an undeniable like chemistry between them. It's never fully explored or like blatantly explored, but I do feel like there are hints of it in their body language, or like just the way the camera hangs on them in certain moments, that it's almost like it's just like an unspoken intimacy between them that is just so, I just love it. I just love it so much. I haven't seen Go, or what was the other one you said?
Pump Up the Volume. Pump Up the Volume is one of Sonja's favorite films. It is a film starring Christian Slater, where he is the host of kind of like a pirate radio station in this small town, and I think they're in Arizona. And he's playing all this fun, great music, Leonard Cohen and punk music and all this stuff. And as he's, you know, playing this music, he's also giving these radical diatribes and fighting against the power and telling the students to stand up. So it's got that kind of element that this film has. And then Go it's a movie about a rave.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
An American independent film about raves in the 90s, which is
awesome.
Back when raves were actual raves and electronic music was. Never mind. I'm not going to get myself. Back when electronic music wasn't called electronic music, it was called fucking it had genres, you know. Anyway.
Right. I love the rave scene in this movie. I think it's just like, it just feels real. I don't know. Did you get that sense, or were you like, it's a good try?
No. I mean, that the rave scene is what won me over, really.
Okay, yeah, that's what it was for me the first time I watched it too. I was like, I mean, I was already into it because it kind of reminded me of this show I love, Skins UK, of just like, I guess, coming of age, because it definitely is a coming of age film. But then the rave scene, there's just, it's so good.
So the rave scene, they take some ecstasy or something like it.
Right.
These two
Right.
blokes, these two mates. And the filmmaker really takes his time with their rise in this trip. And I'm not saying 100% certain that I've done ecstasy or, any kind of illegal drugs. But if I had, I would say that this is probably one of the more accurate depictions of being on this drug, specifically at a rave or in a live music setting that I've ever seen on the big screen, because it really explores not only the fun and not only the like euphoria that you feel and the sense of like overwhelming love and joy that is just, like fills your body. Definitely accomplishes that, but it also explores the visuals. And I'm not just talking about like the morphing visuals that you see of the real world, but the other visuals that you see kind of like within your head, like when you close your eyes. Again, I don't know. I'm not saying for sure that I have done this, but if I had, when you close your eyes, you start to see all this other kind of crazy stuff. It's very like, the best way I can describe it to somebody who also, like me, has not partaken in illegal drugs, like the scene in 2001 A Space Odyssey when he's going into that time warp thing and shit's just flying across the screen and all these shapes and that.
Yeah.
Brian Welsh explores stuff like that, and that is very true to what happens. And then not only that, the mind continues to wander further, and he also intercuts all of this like tearing down of industry, this political imagery, which is obviously like what they're fighting the power, they're revolting and stuff like that. But it just perfectly encapsulated what goes on in the mind and the body when you're on this stuff. And feeling so great is just like you feel a sense of understanding of everything. Everything starts to make sense. And for Jono, they really depict that everything is starting to click for him, in this moment. And I just thought that was really magnificent. I was really, really impressed by that sequence. It totally won me over on this film.
Oh, I love to hear that because, I had the same experience watching it for the first time. And I love that, like, I don't know. I didn't expect, I guess I should say a spoiler alert in a sense, but I didn't expect them to bring in color finally. And when the color bursts across the screen as he's like peeking or whatever coming up, it's just, it kind of brings you into the joy that he's feeling as well. It's like a jolt to the system. I don't know. It's like after all we've been through with these characters, it's such a stylistically, it's electric, but it's also like an emotional payoff.
Yeah,
if that makes
100%,
any sense.
100%. It all felt very earned, seeing them happy and seeing Spanner so happy for such like not only the hard day that he's had, but the hard life he's had. He's been fighting for this, all his life. It's really,
happiness is fleeting for Spanner
for sure. And to see him happy It is quite beautiful. That moment. I love that scene.
Oh, it's so good. And like you said, it's so awesome too because you're for a lot of the movie, it's like kind of almost a road trip film. Like, okay, we're getting there. We're gonna get to the rave. We got to find the rave. And once you're there, it's a long scene. Like you said, we see all of it. I even love in terms of taking the drugs how like we see the panic a little bit of like, whoa, this is a lot. I'm in a kind of crazy setting for this. And then they have to calm down. Like it covers all of it. I totally agree. I think it's one of the most like realistic depictions of just like this scene, I guess I should say.
Yeah.
It's the moment that you will be like grinning ear to ear as you're watching the movie. And then it's all ruined by the fucking cops.
Well, you know what they say. The cops suck.
Yeah, I love they're like, it's pandemonium in there. And then they get in there and create pandemonium by being there. But anyways, the girls in this movie are so funny.
Yeah,
I
they're
think.
great characters. They feel so lived in and
So lived in.
You'd almost feel like I'd be like, oh, I would be open to seeing like an alternate version of this film where we see the film through their eyes, you know?
Oh my God, yes. Yeah.
And I like how at the end of the film you have, you know, you get the thing that some films do where they say, this character did this after the film, and this character had this conclusion to their life, and this character.
Yeah.
And they touch on what the girls, you know, did with their lives. It is like totally believable.
Yep. It's like, oh yeah, that checks out. That
Yep.
tracks. I know, I love that touch because you feel so close to these characters by the end of it that you're just like, wait, I want more.
Yeah.
But yeah, it totally tracks. Yeah, they're really funny. Great. I thought they were great characters and great performances. It's also like a funny dynamics, you know, they're like the older cousins of Spanner, or one of them is. And so I like the idea of what you said of seeing it through their eyes, where it's like, oh, these little cousins they're going crazy.
Yeah. And I've been that little cousin before, so.
I love it.
I do have here. Give me 3 letterboxd reviews for
Oh, yay.
Beats.
www.letterboxd.com. 1 star. 2 stars. 3 stars. 4 stars. 5 stars.
Okay, we got Michael, who gives the film 4 stars. And he writes, things that make me cry in films. He has 3, actually. Give me 3 things that make me cry in films.
Hey.
Male characters expressing platonic love for one another. Slice of life portraits of characters during the last summer before adulthood. And good use of music. Things that this film had. Male characters expressing platonic love for one another. Slices of life portraits of characters during their last summer before adulthood. And good use of music.
Oh, yes.
Has all those things. So if you too love those things, you may enjoy Beats. Chone gives the film 3.5 stars, and he writes, fucking hell, we cunts dancing with mates, and I tell you the truth, 3.5 fucking stars, mate.
Wow.
And now we got, in this final letterbox review, I'm also introducing something new here that I like to call, Bella. Here's something we're going to call Film Bro Comment of the Week.
I loved that. That was perfect.
Paul Elliott gives the film 3.5 stars. And he writes, director Brian Welsh's decision to shoot this Scottish coming-of-age drama in monochrome lends the narrative a contradicting social realism that's symbolic of more than just the defiance of the Criminal Justice and Public Order Act. It also pertains to the general shattering of fantasies held in the mid-90s, such as the demise of New Labour, New Life for Britain political manifesto. It furthermore wields a marvelous, unsophisticated humor, which contrasts agreeably with its generally downcast tone.
Oh. Wow.
Film Bro Comment of the Week.
That's a great addition.
There you got 3 letterbox reviews for Beats.
Oh, so good. I want more people to watch this movie.
The other thing I will say, for me personally, is I immediately had to put the subtitles on this because I don't understand what the fuck people are saying.
It would be impossible to watch this movie without subtitles. I tried really hard. Yeah. It sounds, if you have your eyes closed, it sounds like another language. I also love, that's another way I feel like it's just also has such a great authenticity, is like the slang that they use. I mean, I wasn't in Scotland in the 90s, but I would
think
imagine.
they still use all that slang in Scotland.
I would imagine it's very accurate. Yeah. It feels very natural for these characters. It's one of those scripts where it's like, is it even really a script, or did they just give them a baseline and said, but say it how, how you talk.
It's Brian Welch Scottish, so he knows that.
It's great. Go watch it. It's worth the watch, I think, and tell your friends about it so we can all talk about it.
Beats.
Check it out on Canopy, y'all.
That, my friends, is going to take us to a break, and during that break, you are going to hear from LADFF director, Gimme Three producer, and my wife, Sonja Mereu, for a segment that we call Sonja's Movie Minute. So stick around for that and our final B film of the episode.
Hello, I'm Sonja, and this is my Movie Minute. This week is brought to you by the beautiful and bountiful letter B. I started making my B list, and it consisted of some bangers: Badlands, Bardot, Big Lebowski, Borat, Born on the 4th of July, just to name a few. But I searched my soul, and the B movie that I think deserves all the love it can get is Better Man, the 2025 musical biopic of the singer Robbie Williams. You may remember the ads for this. Robbie Williams is played by a CGI human-sized chimpanzee. Yes, that is an insane choice. And guess what? It's 100% the best choice they could have made. This movie is absolutely fantastic. We all know the musical biopic tropes. We've seen Ray, Walk the Line, and Bohemian Rhapsody. We've even seen Walk Hard make a masterpiece out of the musical biopic parody. Better Man thinks outside the box, swings for the fences, and hits a grand slam, combining the jukebox musical, the biopic, and a technologically stunning spectacle. This movie was a massive box office bomb, which is really tragic in my opinion. This team was bold and creative in their choices, and I wish they had been rewarded. Not just with money, but with the enthusiastic audience it deserves. I think that anyone who sees Better Man will be won over by its wit, charm, and edge. I didn't even know that I needed to see a chimpanzee snorting piles of coke, but after Better Man, my life feels like it would have been incomplete without it. I also will never be able to take Oasis seriously again, not that I ever did anyway. Plus, it's worth noting that I had no familiarity with Robbie Williams or his songs before seeing the film, and now I'm a bona fide fan. I would say that hopefully some repertory theater will play Better Man, but based on how hard it bombed, that seems unlikely. If I ever hold an unsolicited screening, I'll let you know. In the meantime, Better Man is on Paramount Plus, so check it out. You won't regret it.
It's the Gimme Three podcast, everybody, and it's Gimme Three A through Z over the next couple of years. Fuck.
I know.
Every month we're picking a letter of the alphabet. Bella, myself, and somebody from our audience, one of our great listeners, are selecting a film that we adore. And this is the letter B. And before the break, we talked about Being John Malkovich, and Bella picked Beats, a Scottish film from 2019. And I am picking a Korean film, Burning, from 2018, directed by the great Lee Chang-dong. There's going to be major spoilers in this one because it's kind of impossible to talk about without the spoilers. So if you want to preserve your experience of this film without spoilers, maybe pause the podcast right now and come back to it. If you like films that are ethereal, if you like films that are dense, if you're the kind of person that likes to scratch your chin, as you ponder the complexities of this world, then Burning is the film for you. And it follows. Jong-soo is a young man, and he's recently a college graduate. He's living in Seoul. And despite having his degree, Jong-soo can't really find a steady job. And it's like, I don't know if he can not find a steady job or he doesn't really want a steady job. He wants to be a writer, but he doesn't really know what to write about because he hasn't lived much life yet. In the opening scene, Jong-soo runs into Jaime, who's a young woman who he grew up with in his old neighborhood. of Pongju. And they reflect a little bit on the past as they reconnect. And, they're both awkward, a little quiet. But despite the awkwardness, there is a connection there. Jaime is intriguing. She talks about little hunger versus great hunger. Little hunger, of course, means when you are literally hungry. Great hunger is a hunger for something deeper, hunger for purpose and meaning in your life. This is partially why she's taking this trip to Africa. And she asked Zhongshu to watch over her cat while she goes on this trip to Africa. And before she leaves, Jaime puts the moves on this man, and they have sexuada. That's Korean for sex. And all of our Korean listeners are saying, fuck you! It's around this time that Zhongshu also decides he's going to move back to his old hometown, their old hometown, and into his childhood home because his father has run into some trouble with the law because he assaulted one of his neighbors. So he's got to move back into the house. He's taking care of the house. Also, he's broke as shit, so it kind of works out. And it's a house that really feels a world away from the hustle and bustle of Seoul. And it's also in the shadow of North Korea. The propaganda announcements of North Korea are actually within earshot of his house. So when Jaime returns from Africa, she's not alone. She's got a new friend with her, another Korean man that she met over there, and his name is Ben. And immediately Zhongshu feels threatened by Ben. Ben is rich, he is confident, he is suave, and most unfortunately, he is ridiculously good looking. So Jaime kind of develops this relationship with Ben. She's also keeping her close relationship with Zhongshu. You've heard of odd couples. This is kind of an odd trio. And one night after the three have dinner at Zhongshu's house, Jaime, high and emotional, does this emotive dance. It's her great hunger dance. And she takes off her shirt and she's topless. She dances as the sun sets and South Korean flag is flapping in the air and tears are streaming down her cheeks. It's quite a powerful scene, a powerful moment. And later that night, Ben tells Zhongshu that he's got a strange hobby, this son of a bitch. Every couple of months, he likes to just burn down greenhouses. And Zhongshu says, what the fuck? The next day, Jaime goes missing. And nobody knows where she's gone, and nobody seems to care, except for Zhongshu. And Zhongshu suspects that Ben may have something to do with her disappearance. Was he referring to her when he was talking about burning down these greenhouses? Perhaps because he has been checking all the greenhouses near where he lives, and none of them have burned down. So what the hell is this man talking about? The film kind of devolves into this mystery. What has happened to Jaime? What is Zhongshu going to do about Ben? The film's this meditative exploration of classism, especially experienced in South Korea, modern relationships, our relationships with our past, our purpose on this planet, and about 10 other things. It's dense, it's beautiful, it's very haunting, It's burning. Bella, what do you think of this burning?
I cannot stop thinking about this movie. Like, it just pops into my head every single day since I've watched it, just ruminating on it, honestly, because it is haunting.
Mm-hmm.
I had seen I had seen most of this movie. I think when I first watched it, it was probably like 5 years ago now. It was a long time ago.
5 years, not that long ago, Bella.
I know. It feels like a long time now.
5 years ago was last week.
I know. Okay, make it 10. I'll just say it was 10.
You saw it before it came out.
Yeah. but I somehow hadn't finished it, which is crazy. Especially if you've watched this movie, you know how insane that is because so much is revealed. A lot goes down in the end. But anyways, this is a movie that you have to watch multiple times, I think. Not in a bad way, of course. It's just you will get a little something
You
out
are
of it
rewarded
each time.
the more you watch it.
Yes, that's the perfect way to say it. It is a reward. Yeah, this is a movie where the ambiguity is more the suspense or the thrill or even like the horror. And I think it's just so brilliantly executed because there are so many moments where watching it, at least for me, I couldn't tell if it's being ambiguous or if they've just like blatantly revealed something to me. Like it's like, oh, did they just show me all their cards or like quickly hide them again? Or was it just a coincidence or, something else entirely? And I think that comes back to the fact that this is like such a fantastic way to portray an unreliable narrator, I guess you could say. I don't know if you feel that way, but I'm like watching this, I felt just like so immersed in his POV, I guess, where it's like we're with him, this main character. What's his name?
Shu.
Shu. We're with him the whole time, but not only are we like watching him, but we're kind of like seeing through his eyes and sensing things through his own experience and interactions with these kind of eccentric characters, you could say.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, like this film, unlike an American film, where you start the film and you're just like, okay, here's what this movie's about. And we're going to go forward. This movie starts and you're just like, okay, here's what this movie about. And then 20 minutes later, you're just like, oh, it's also about this. And then another 20 minutes later, it's like, oh, wait, it's also about that. And then another 20 minutes later, it's like, oh, crap, now we're in a mystery film. This film constantly is morphing. It's about, youth finding their place in this world. And it deals like with the classism that South Koreans are experiencing that now also we in America are experiencing. And it's just becoming so extreme, the class disparity. Then it kind of morphs into something, a little bit more allegorical, and it morphs again. And it's just really impressive how it's able to kind of shape shift this film and continue to subvert the audience. And by the end, you're kind of overwhelmed with what to feel because you have gone through this journey trying to figure out what it's about, and all kind of like how you feel sometimes at the end of life, or at the end of the day, it's like, what the fuck, what is this life about, and that's kind of what the film is about. So it's really, it's interesting hearing you talk about it because I'm like, well, that's not my experience watching it at all. But
interesting.
But I think that's like the fascinating thing about this movie, kind of like what we were talking about with Being John Malkovich. I think everybody's going to kind of take away something different in their own interpretation of it.
Yeah.
Kind of like Being John Malkovich, there's a whole bunch of theories and essays written about this film, even though this film is fairly recent.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's really dense and just really beautiful and impressive how they're able to weave all these ideas together into one seamless and really impactful film.
So your interpretation, I'm curious to hear more about. I know you've already kind of talked about it, but like, I guess I just want to ask if you feel like point blank Ben is a murderer.
I think in the greater sense of things, yes, he is, like whether it's not, whether or not he physically killed Jaime is I think irrelevant, frankly.
Yeah.
But he is a murderer of sorts. He is a kind of symbol for this new age of elitism.
Yeah.
Where he seems to, dismiss his own culture. He seems to, he uses people, like he uses Jaime, he invites her over to this dinner with all of his rich friends, and she pours her heart out doing this great hunger dance for them. And, Zhang Shu's totally moved by this dance. And then he turns around and looks over his shoulder and he sees Ben just yawning.
Yeah.
So he is a user, and he is the worst kind of elite asshole, where it's just like, what do you do? Even Zhang Shu even asked him at one point, like, what do you do? He says, I play, Yeah. It's like, work and play are just, a thing. It's just like, you fucking asshole. I ought to fucking rip your soul out.
Yeah. He's just rich.
He's just rich,
Yeah.
So is he a murderer? Yes.
Did he kill her?
Did he kill her? I mean, again,
it doesn't matter.
I don't know if it matters.
Yeah.
I don't know if it matters.
She's just gone.
She's just gone. She's gone.
Yeah.
And what's sad is she, the more we learn about her, the more we're just like, okay, this poor woman is alone. Her family's kind of rejected her.
Yeah.
Because she's buried in credit card debt. When we meet her, she's doing this like on the street dancing, giving away raffle prizes. It's like a shitty job. She lives in a studio apartment by herself. She's lonely, and that's why when she runs into Zhang Shu, she kind of like clings on to him initially because it's some part of her past that she can connect to, and it's somebody who she can potentially have a connection with, because she seemingly doesn't have a connection with anybody. And she's looking for this meaning in life. And maybe in Ben, once she meets Ben, she's like, okay, maybe this can be, a sense of identity. Maybe this can help me find some meaning in life. She's introduced to these new people. And once she buries her soul out to these people, she doesn't really get the reaction that she's looking for from them. They kind of dismiss her. So she's brushed aside by this class, which makes sense because, they're judgmental, they're elite, and she's not. But what's really heartbreaking is when she does that dance again at Zhang Shu's home, and, she takes off her shirt and she does the dance and she's topless. And it's a very like, you can take whatever you want to take from that dance and her performance, but clearly that actress is going through it. And she's given that performance, and that character is going through it. And she could just get the sense of that she is lost. And she's like, God, help me find something. The one person that perhaps she has a connection with, the one person who has not like shunned her and like shut her out of his life, says the most awful thing to her. He says, you shouldn't take your clothes off so easily in front of other men. That's what whores do. And that's the last thing he said to her. The next day she goes missing. So, I mean, it could be said that Zhang Shu killed her,
Yeah, that's true.
This was the one person that she was able to connect with and potentially rely on and trust. And in her laying her soul out, bearing her soul, he called her a whore.
Oh my God, it's so heartbreaking.
Mostly because of his own insecurities and his own, it was unfortunate, an unfortunate choice of words by a immature young man.
Yeah, he couldn't see how much she really valued him because he was so, blinded with jealousy for Ben.
Blinded with jealousy and blinded with love for her. Sometimes when you're in love and young, dumb, and full of cum, you do some stupid shit.
Oh, man, he does some stupid shit in this movie. Many times.
Yeah.
A serial offender of stupid shit. But I guess that's the price of being young.
That is the price of being young,
Yeah, God, it's such a sad movie as well. Like, or more so just her story. It's just gut-wrenching, She talks so much about wanting to just vanish that you shouldn't feel surprised when she does in a way, but it like hits that much harder because of it. Like she's just gone. She's in the wind.
Yeah. And the film, really changes after she disappears, which is like kind of about the midpoint of the film, maybe a little bit past the midpoint of the film.
Yeah, I think so.
And the film really changes once she's gone.
Yeah. At least for me, she's the largest presence in the first half. So the second half starts so empty.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of just filled with ickiness, for lack of a better word. It just, layers and layers of muck. And these characters just can't get out of it.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's a strikingly pertinent film, and there's this class disparity, as we talked about in Korea. We're experiencing it here in the United States. There's one shot that I just thought was so breathtaking. And it's when he calls Jaime for the first time after he said that awful thing. It's like the next morning. And he's like, hey, like we need to talk, presuming that he wants to apologize for what he said. But the way that shot starts is as he's making that call, he's about to go into like a group interview, like a mass interview for a part-time job. And that shot starts with him out of frame, and it's just on a gaggle, 10 to 12 young adults, young Koreans waiting outside as they're waiting to all get wrangled into this mass interview. And all of their heads are just down. They all look so defeated before the interview even begins. And then it just slowly pans over to him as he's making the call. And all of their heads are down. And then they all get called in, and you see them all like pick their heads up and mush in, hoping to get, the scraps that this job is going to give them.
Yeah.
Devastating.
Mesmerizing, nonetheless.
Mesmerizing. Truly, truly mesmerizing. Beautifully shot. The score is like, whoa, crazy.
Oh, my God. Yes. And just the way it captures like landscapes as well. I mean, the coloring is like that scene of her dancing set against the sunset. It's already a fairly prolonged scene, but I could watch it even longer. You know what I mean? You're just bewitched by it. And not only just her dancing, but just like the scenery of it all and the freedom of like where she is in that moment, but also the opposite of that as well. She's like trying to free herself in this, she's out of the city and she's back in her hometown, and it's like these gorgeous rural plains, but she's still caged in a way. I don't know, just visually the way they capture that, so much of that comes through just in the imagery.
Well, that's the perfect setup for my trivia, Bella. Give me 3 pieces of trivia for Burning.
I want to play a game.
That scene that we're discussing, in which the main characters are talking at Jongshu's house, and then we get into the dance by Jaime and weird conversation about burning greenhouses after. That whole sequence, which is quite long, is filmed over a month.
What?
Well, think about it, Bella, because that entire scene is shot in magic hour as the sun is setting, and twilight. And
wow,
it's a long sequence filled with like these incredibly nuanced performances. So you got to get these great performances. You got to get these great looking shots. You got to get this dance and this choreography to go. You got to get that flag to look right. You got to get that sun to hit her titties just the perfect way, So all that stuff, you could only film essentially for an hour a day. So that's why they had to spread it out. I'm sure they filmed other stuff on each day, since they're at that location. They could probably film, the rest of the scenes of while he's at the house, and him running around looking for the burned greenhouses and stuff. But the sequence itself, shot over a month.
Wow. They killed that.
Yeah, killed it.
Very, very cohesive.
And it does feel like, it almost feels real time. Like you are watching, it does feel like magic hour. You do see the sunset as she's doing the dance, and then the conversation happens at twilight, and it all kind of feels like, oh yeah, this is exactly the amount of time that it would take for us to dip into darkness, and to darkness we do go.
God, it's so true.
Okay, piece of trivia number 2. The film is based on the short story Barn Burning. I actually didn't know this. I've seen this film several times, and I didn't realize that it's based off a short story by one of my favorite authors, Haruki Murakami.
Oh my God, that's amazing.
Yeah. Japanese broadcaster NHK owned the rights to Murakami's work and asked Lee Chang-dong to choose and adapt into a film one of the short stories by Murakami. So he chose Barn Burning. And the film is also kind of inspired by William Faulkner's 1939 story, Barn Burning. I'm not sure if there's any connection with Faulkner's short story and Murakami's short story. But Lee Chang-dong described the film as a story of a young Faulkner living in a Murakami world. Which is, if you're familiar with either of those brilliant writers' work, as an apt description for this film. And finally, piece of trivia number 3, the loudspeaker broadcast that Jong-shu hears at home is actually the sound that can be heard in Paju, which is near the DMZ in the filming location. So they couldn't really record the actual broadcast. So the sound was actually recorded by a Korean defector and was inserted into the film.
Wow.
And the broadcast rang out in Paju during filming, but it was actually luckily turned off after the Inter-Korean Summit in April of 2018. So that's when they were able to do it without having to hear that shit and ruin all their dialogue with the propaganda.
Oh my God. Wow. That's really interesting.
So there you have it. Give me 3 pieces of trivia for Burning.
Amazing.
It's a remarkable film. Kind of like Being John Malkovich, as we said, many theories on this film, none of them incorrect. It's a powerful one, and it is one that I look forward to revisiting time and time again, because it's one of those movies with each revisit, as I said earlier, you are rewarded with something fresh, some new piece of information, some new perspective, something that you did not catch in a prior viewing.
Absolutely. And as you mentioned, very pertinent.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Probably will.
And sadly, it'll probably be pertinent forever until the day that we disappear like Jaime.
Oh, my God.
Anyways,
on that note,
B is for bleak.
That's how we do it.
All right. My friends, let us know what your favorite film that starts with B is. Let us know what you think of Being John Malkovich. Let us know what you think of Beats. Let us know what you think of Burning. We want to hear from you. There's a few ways to get a hold of us. You can scroll down to our episode description and click the link that says send us a text message. You can drop us a line there, and it's going to go right into our inbox. And then you could also follow us on Instagram at Gimme 3 Podcast. That's GIMME, spell out 3 podcast. Gimme 3 Podcast on Instagram. You can slide into our DMs there. We've got polls from time to time asking our audience to help us select, what film we're going to be discussing. And pretty soon we're going to be putting up a request for suggestions for the letter C. So keep an eye out for that, because you could choose the film that we discuss next month. If you enjoy the show, if you enjoy the Gimme 3 Podcast, there's a few ways to support us. We've got a Patreon, and for $5 a month, you can support the show. There's bonus content on there, but it also just helps us keep the microphones on, keeps us doing what we're doing. So go ahead and subscribe to our Patreon for just $5 a month, cheaper than goddamn pretty much everything these days, including a gallon of gas. You can download our episodes. That helps us out. And then, of course, you can just share the podcast with a friend. If you got friends who enjoy movies, enjoy talking about movies, all the Gen Zs, now they're into the movies all of a sudden, these Gen Zers. So share them with your Gen Zers. Bella, you want to let the lovely folks know where they can find you on the social medias?
Absolutely. You guys can find me on Instagram at Portrait of a Cinephile or on Letterboxd at BFStratus.
And you can find me on Letterboxd on Instagram and on Blue Sky at Gimme Three Podcast. What the fuck is it? Nicholas Ibarra. That's my name. Thank you all for listening to the Gimme Three Podcast, and we will see you at the movies.